Hello, everybody. How you doing? This is the live show, the live call-in show. If you want to join in, you can click the link, and you can join in, and then we're going to have a discussion. But before anyone joins in, I'll just go in. Eric Chelle, obviously, has been appointed as Super Eagles head coach, and everyone sort of knows that. At the minute, that's obvious. So, what do we expect of Eric Chelle? Eric Sekou Chile, Chelle. What do we expect of him? What would you see as a good, would I say, good performance, or a good performance? What would he have to do for you to look at him and say, okay, yeah, he's done well. He deserves that additional year in his contract. He deserves to hold on to the job. What would you term as success? Is it winning the AFCON and not qualifying for the World Cup, or is it maybe getting the quarterfinals, semi-finals of the AFCON, and then winning and qualifying for the World Cup, or both? So what would you see as a good, a good performance from his own perspective? Or what would be the barometer you use to, rate Eric Chelle? Or is it for you good play, good style of play, some identity? So for me, I think it's a bit of everything, because I want to see Nigeria play good football. And to be fair, under Augustine Eguavoen, especially the first two games, Nigeria really played very good football. Played good football, and then obviously that led to Nigeria qualifying for the AFCON, but towards the end losing to Rwanda, and then dropping points they shouldn't have dropped. So for me, I want to see Nigeria play good football, play good aggressive football, and go very far in the AFCON, if possible, go a step further. Go a step further in the tournament and win it this time around. So for me, I'll be looking for Nigeria to go all the way and qualify for the AFCON, qualify for the World Cup. I'm sorry. I know some people will be saying we're already in a bad spot. Well, that's known, but that bad spot was a result of bad coaching and bad team selection as well. Because for me, the teams in that group are teams that Nigeria should be beating anyway, should be beating home and away, and getting the better of them. So for me, that's what I would want. That's what I would use to rate Eric Chelle, to say he's got a good. He's that's how I'll use. That's what I'll use to rate him. Or give him a pass mark if he indeed gets Nigeria to the World Cup and qualifies. For the World Cup. So for me, as well, I want to see some not brand new, but new faces, and those players that have not been playing well, like of Kelechi Iheanacho, should be dropped, kept to one side, and then you have players that are good and that are promising that can fill in those spots. And I want to see the right players playing in the right positions. For me, I'm not really bothered about the formation per se, but for whatever formation he chooses to play, I want to see the right players in those positions. And I also want to see players that can actually come on and make a difference, as opposed to having players that are just there for supposed experience, in my opinion. So I know we had a lot of back and forth in terms of people's feeling with respect to Eric Chelle. Some people are saying, "Oh, we should have got a home-based coach. We should have got an European coach. Eric Chelle isn't good enough. He was coaching a team like Mali, and so you shouldn't be coming to coach Nigeria as supposed to giants of Africa." Well, for me, and you also have people who are talking about, we're talking about ex Super Eagles players being coaches. And I've said this time and time again, to be the coach of a national team, this is not just Nigeria, it's not a compensation package. It's not because you played for a country, you scored so many goals for them, you won a World Cup or an AFCON, playing for them. Because those are two separate careers. Your career as a coach is different, and obviously your career as a player is different. It's what you've achieved as a coach, it's how you prepared yourself, as a coach. That's what should give you, the opportunity to coach in team, especially Nigeria. So we're talking about Amanike, some even talking about Siasia. And when was the last time Siasia coached a team? When was the last time he coached a team? I know he was very good when he led those under 20 teams with Obi Mikel as the captain of those teams. The team play really good football. I'll give him credit. But when was the last time he coached a team? Eric Chelle, see what he did with Mali. Mali didn't do that good. They did very well. They punched really above their weight. Just missing out on the semi-finals. Just by an hair's breadth. To the eventual winners, Ivory Coast, that defeated Nigeria in the final. Because that tournament just felt like it was written in the stars for Ivory Coast that somehow, some way, they are always going to qualify. Somehow, some way, they're always going to get to the final and they're eventually going to win it. So the fact that he comes from Mali shouldn't have anything to do with him being the coach of Super Eagles. For me, let everyone get behind the coach and let him play. We have this sense where you have big journalists, big pundits with massive followings, that each time you have a foreign coach employed, they're always, ready to pull him down, not willing to give him any chance. They go on, oh, this coach is not good enough. What has he achieved? Well, sort of like expecting to have a Jose Mourinho type coach, or a Pep Guardiola type coach, or an Ancelotti type coach. No, you are not expecting to get this kind of coaches to quit Nigeria at the minute, because the profile of Nigeria isn't there yet. We've got the tools in terms of the quality players, Victor Osimhen, Boniface, got the quality of players, but in terms of achievement, we've not got to that point yet. And Eric Chelle has shown promise. I'm not saying he's the Messiah or he's the best since sliced bread was invented, but at least we've seen what he did with Mali. He got them playing good football. He got them playing high pressing football, and he utilized the players available to him. He utilized the players available to him, and he got as far as he could have got. Because I'll tell you, no one really was expecting Mali to get as far as they did, and definitely not get to a semi-final or a final. So people trying to use his achievement with Mali to sort of discredit him, for me, that doesn't hold any weight for me. Now, while I'm in support of Eric Chelle, I'm just holding my breath to see his first international list. And this is hoping that the NFL doesn't do what they usually do and have an overbearing influence on, people who are invited. For me, what the NFL should be concerned about is ensuring that the players are available. If there's a player with dual nationality that he wants to be in the team, the NFL should take steps to make sure that player is got. If there's a player that he wants to be part of the team, the NFL should do all it takes to get the player available. Take care of logistics, flight plans, stadium, and all those other things. But in terms of the player, because the coach lives and dies by, his team selection, his tactics he tries to implement, on match days. So the NFL shouldn't have their hands in that pudding, in my opinion. So for me, I'll say it again. What I expect from Eric Chelle is go to AFCON and get to the final and hopefully win it playing attacking football. Now, when I say play attacking football, it's not that you forget about defending, because that's what modern football fans and I suppose that modern coaches seem to think. You play attacking football, and you don't even play attacking football. You play suicidal football. Where you're passing out from the back, even if your opponent is sitting on your head. So that's the kind of football I'm talking about. Playing football that utilizes all the strengths, of the Nigerian Super Eagles, wing play, the pacey and powerful forwards that the country has. So that kind of things I would like to see him do. But if he chooses to come up with some other style of play, but that's still entertaining to watch and creates results as well, because it's one thing for your team to be entertaining, but it's another thing for you to actually have, those results. And for me, while I have the kind of formation and tactics that I would love to see him adopt, I am open to seeing what he's able to do. Because there's this saying that I hear during some comments where they say this is the way football is meant to be played. For me, that's a big lie. That's a big lie. There's no particular football. There's no particular tactic, that supersedes all. That's why football is a beautiful game. That's why football is an art. There are different ways, to get your results. There are different ways to set your team up. You have a 3-5-2, you have a 5-3-2, 4-3-3, 4-4-2. Different ways of playing, defensive, counter-attacking, different, and that's what makes football interesting. It's not having this robot system where everyone sort of plays, the same way or adopts the same tactics. For me, that just makes football boring, in my opinion. Use the players you have to the best of your ability. Use the best the players you have. If you have just one very good player, use him. If you have five very good players, use him. And sometimes, if you have more wingers and central midfielders, you play to the strengths. You don't try to shoehorn those wingers into playing into the central midfield. So, but the good thing about Nigeria right now is that we've got good players, like in most areas. Apart from that 10 role, that's the one place where Nigeria lacks players. That's why in one of my videos, you could check that out later, when I talk about Kani Chukwuemeka, Nigeria is lacking in that number 10 role. When it comes to big, strong centre backs, Nigeria has got them. When it comes to skillful, exciting wingers, Nigeria's got them. When it comes to pacey fullbacks or wing backs, Nigeria's got them. When it comes to central midfielders like your central defensive midfielders, like Nigeria has them. So Troost Ekong, Raphael Onyedika, Ebenezer Akinsimiro, Nigeria has all these sort of players. It's just that 10 role that is kind of missing. And that's why, for me, I looked at the system that Eguavon opted for, adopted, the 3-4-3, 3-4-3 formation. I think that just suited Nigeria's formation. It suited the kind of players Nigeria has to a T. Using two central midfielders, using two quick attack-minded wing backs, using two wingers as well. Those are areas that Nigeria has players. But the problem is, at some point, Eguavon started to pick the wrong profile of players. Not necessarily because they were not that good enough, although I have my issues with some players like Iwobi, but the fact was that they were not really good enough. Not good enough. Not that they were not good enough. They didn't really suit that. They didn't really suit that formation. What I expect from Eric Chelle, this might seem very basic. If he chooses to, for instance, opt for a 3-4-3, I don't want to see an Iwobi in that midfield. Akinsimiro, Kusantos Uche, Raphael Onyedika, even Frank Onyeka, those are more the type of midfielders that would suit that kind of information. And then when you're talking about in the wingers as well, then you get your Ademola Lookman, your Simon Moses, bring exciting wingers. Samuel Chukwuezedo is injured at the minute. So those are the kind of things I want to see. And as well, I would love to see new faces. Each time I see these, people keep going on about, you keep talking about new faces, but we have to see new faces. Why? The team is aging. Ndidi is aging. Kelechi Iheanacho is aging. Tawoini is still young. I think he's 27 now. So this team, you don't want a situation where you look at your bench and everyone, what you have there is young kids. So this is the time where you start giving young emerging talents a place in the team. That's my opinion. So then, like I said, I'll say it again. I want to say attacking football, attack-minded football, attacking football, and dominate teams. It's come to the point where Nigeria has to dominate teams. When you're playing against a team you're stronger than, you should dominate them. If you're playing against Brazil and you don't dominate the game, I understand. If you're playing against Spain, you don't dominate the game. I understand that. But if you're playing against Rwanda, due respect to Rwanda, you should dominate that game. You should be winning that game. No excuses. If you're playing against Benin, you should be dominating that game. You should be winning that game. You're playing against South Africa. Due respect to South Africa, you should be winning against South Africa. They are the strongest, or should I say, second strongest side in that group, but they're nowhere near the quality of the Nigerian Super Eagles. So Nigeria should be beating those teams. And one other thing that I want to see Eric Chelle do is the psychological side of things, the motivational side of things, getting these players revved up, getting these players motivated to play. It's sad to say that sometimes it's kind of like you have to motivate players to play for their country, but you have to motivate these players. And one way to motivate players is having options in the bench. Because just like in life in general, if there are no consequences, you can't get people to change. You can't get people to change bad behavior. So if you have a player and he performs badly in a game, and then the next game he plays, there's another game he plays, performs badly, you still play him, and then when you're inviting, you're coming up with the next list for the next international fixture, he is the first name on the list. Then how do you get that player to perform? All these players, they perform in their club sides. And do you know why they perform in their club sides? Because if you perform badly, you're going to sit on the bench. But in Nigerian Super Eagles, it's like you perform badly or not, we invite you the next time you play. Be willing to use your bench. Be willing to use your bench. Be willing to use your bench. And that the only way you can possibly use your bench and that becomes effective is when you have quality players on the bench. And I wouldn't say the job of a coach of a national team is easier than a club coach necessarily, but it's a little bit, you have a little bit of an advantage in that you watch all the league games, you see the players who are playing, you see your players who are active, you see what they can do, and then you see the ones who are not performing, you see the ones who are sitting on the bench, game in, game out. Then okay, I can't invite this one. He's not playing. He's not performing. So there's no way I'll invite him to play. But in time past, we've seen players who sit on the bench and then they're invited to Nigerian Super Eagles. That cannot continue to happen. And so that's one thing I expect from Eric Chelle. Make the right invitation based on merit, based on who are performing for their teams. I know there's an ex-Super Eagles player that midfielder came on to say club football is different from national team football. Okay, slightly different. So it doesn't matter how well a player is playing for his team. It depends on the player you bring to the team that can make a difference. How would you know a player who can make a difference if he's not playing well for his team? If a player is not playing well for his team, what is it? So what evidence do you have that player is going to come to the Super Eagles and play well? So it makes no sense to me. People keep talking about experience. If the experienced player is playing well for let's say playing for Sevilla, playing for Nottingham Forest or wherever, and he's playing well for that team, scoring goals, or if he's a defender doing his job well as a defender, then fine, you invite him. But the player who is not playing well, what's the point? What's the point of inviting such a player? So, because where you run into a brick wall as a coach, if you invite this kind of players, is when you're in a tough spot, you look to your bench, you just know you can't there's no one there for you to bring on that can make any difference. So, for Eric Chelle, I want him to be strong in terms of making decisions and tell the NFF, let me invite my players. If I don't perform with the players I've invited, then you can sack me if you want. But at this point, let me invite my players and use the players, that would help me do the job. So that's how I see it. I wonder how you see things. You can click on the link and join the conversation. So, for me, excited to see what Eric Chelle would do going into the next round of qualifiers. And I think did he actually coach the Chan Eagles? But I know he was present and he watched them play, watched them win their match. So that's good to see that he has his hands on everything, as well. And they're looking to say probably he will get some players from the Chan Eagles to part of the Super Eagles. But one thing I want to tell everyone before you start thinking, oh, we're going to get home-based players playing for the Super Eagles, and that's going to work a treat. One thing is true. You see that player that you see that's exciting as a home-based player, the next minute he'll be gone. So that's it. Don't expect that your Nigerian Super Eagles will suddenly be made up of home-based players. Because for one, you never have your best players in Nigeria. Because once they begin to show promise, they are gone. That's the truth about the matter. That's the truth about the matter. You cannot expect that you have a team suddenly, filled with home-based players. The only way you can achieve that is you get the league functioning properly. You get the league being competitive. You get the league, having more commercial value and identity. You get the payment structure. You get the payments that players earn to be higher and competitive with the rest with other major leagues in the world. If you don't do all this, then you can never have your best players in your league. That's just the truth of the matter. So, I know what your thoughts are on what we're discussing so far, talking about Eric Chelle. What are your expectations? What do you, as a fan, a Nigerian fan of football, Nigerian fan of Nigerian Super Eagles, what do you expect from Eric Chelle? What would be, the things you would use to grade his performance? Is it a good football, play exciting football, create lots of chances, maybe score lots of goals, but if he doesn't qualify for the World Cup, if he doesn't help the Super Eagles win the AFCON, do you say, okay, um, that's still good enough for him to continue on the job? Or you don't care about anything like identity or style of play? It's just win. If you win the AFCON, qualify for the World Cup, that's good enough. So I'm talking about players, that I would want to see called up to the Nigerian Super Eagles. There's one of them, Ebenezer Akinsimero. I know I've talked about him in lots of my videos. So I'll just play his video for let's just all watch and enjoy the brilliance of this player. So you just see him on the ball, his control, because he's passing. That's one thing that Nigerian Super Eagles have lacked in a long time. A midfielder that can help control the game, control the pace of the game, you know, helping defending, helping attacking, having good pass selection. That's something that Nigerian Super Eagles have lacked. So having when I saw this guy, I said, this is someone that we should have in Nigerian Super Eagles. I don't care how old he is, because what he does, I don't think anyone presently in the team does this. Whether it's Ndidi, whether it's Rafael Nyedika has his own good qualities as well. So I think he is the only one that does this, as well as Chrysanthus Uche. That's why I say both of them, Eric Chelle should have these players in his team. They're young, energetic, and they're good on the ball. You can see, just scoff that shot there, but you can see the control he has, how the the play flows through him. Everything they're doing, it flows through him. It helps control the pace of the game. Look at him doing the defensive job there, and then accurate pass. That's something that has been missing. especially if Eric Chelle would decide to go for this 3-4-3 formation. So you need a midfielder like this. And because one thing I know is people always come up with different excuses. He doesn't have dual nationality, and that shouldn't be a problem. He just had Nigerian nationality, so there's no we're trying to convince him, to pick one country or the other. He's he already just has that one nationality, and if he is invited, that he will see that as a great honor. So there's no excuse. I know some who want to come up with the excuse that he's too young. No, if you're good enough, you're good enough. So not a question of young. If you're good enough, you're good enough. That's just it. Look at it. He's playing football with poor older than him, and he's playing very well. Look at that strength. To ride that challenge. Miss that part there. But you can see what he brings, what he can bring. What he can bring to the Nigerian Super Eagles. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer for the Chelle to actually invite this guy to the national team, in my opinion. So I wonder what you guys think. So back to you now. So what do you expect from Eric Chelle? For me, I've said it. I want to see good attacking football. I want to see the right selection. I think right now I'm excited that with Nigeria Super Eagles have a coach, but my real judgment will begin to come in or filter in once I see his first list or the first list of players he invites for. I think it's the World Cup qualifiers, the first list that comes in. That's when I'll begin to really, really, really judge him from what videos I've watched of him, and what I've done my research and I've known about him is kind of football I like to play, high pressing, high octane football, pin the opponent in their own half, dominate the midfield, and that's music to my ears. That's music to my ears, and I'm sure that's music to the ears of a lot of Nigerians. You want to see Nigeria dominate, dominate teams, but let's see the players he invites. That's the key thing. Let's see the players he invites, because sometimes I know we have all these tactics, but football is as easy as you have the best players, you win. You put them in their right positions on the pitch, they win. That might seem a bit simple, but in modern football, a lot of coaches try to complicate things. Take a right back, play him as a central defender. Take a winger, play him as a midfielder. Just overcomplicate things. But for me, I think in African football, just keep things simple, put players in the right positions, get them motivated, and you win. You win games. So I want to see Eric Chelle, play this dominant football. I want to see Nigeria get to the AFCON final, hopefully win it, and as well as I want to see, Nigeria get to the World Cup, qualify for the World Cup. Might seem a bit greedy, might seem a bit like I'm an Oliver Twist, but for me, I just know Nigeria has the potential to actually dominate African football. Take a page out of the book of the Moroccans. Look at what they're doing in terms of how they're building their squad, building their talent pool, getting their best talent from Morocco, and also because they're in similar position, to Nigeria, where you have a lot of dual nationality players with dual nationality, Moroccan nationality and Spanish nationality, or Moroccan and Italian nationality, or Dutch nationality. They're doing their best to get these players to opt to play for Morocco. And this is something I think the Super Eagles should do as well. I think Eric Chelle should be at the forefront of this. At the forefront, not just of getting players with dual nationality, that's not the point, but at the forefront of getting the absolute best players, to play for the Nigerian Super Eagles, and hopefully he doesn't allow himself to be sort of, what I say, emotionally blackmailed to invite players that won't really be able to contribute anything to the team, other than, this pseudo experience. If you're an experienced player and you can't show that experience on the pitch, then what's the point? What then is the point? If you can't show that experience on the pitch, then what is the point of having that experienced player there? Now, I don't know how many people watching know about Stefan Effenberg. Stefan Effenberg used to be captain of Bayern Munich, and I would say I caught the later part of his career. So at that point, he was old. That's literally for a football player, but he used to come off the bench and he would give these raking passes, defense splitting passes. So that's someone that actually, while he was on his way out at that time, but he will come off the bench and he will make a difference with his play, with his control, helping Bayern Munich control the game. So if you have an experienced player in that line that can come on 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, give you something off the bench, fine. But if you have a player that can't give you that, especially when you've watched him for his club, he's not really doing anything, he's not really playing, he's not really having an impact for his club, then what's the point? For me, then I think you give a young player that opportunity as opposed to, trying to just fill the space. And I said it before, you can just say, okay, we'll give you a new role, player liaison officer. So you could have that time to talk to people, to motivate people if that's what the handlers wants that player to do for the team. But that would ensure that that player doesn't take up the spot of people that can actually have an impact on the pitch. And talking about young players, this is a player I've talked about in the previous video, this Shola Ogundana. And I think it's someone that can also be helpful to the Nigerian Super Eagles. I may not be the first list on the Eric Chelle, but the next international list, maybe let's say by September next year, he should be on the list because I think he's 19 years old, so he's still young. But he's someone that I'm excited to see what he will do in the jersey of the Nigerian Super Eagles. So you can see his pace, how electric he is. You know, so this is someone I think the Super Eagles can do with. Although he plays for Flamingo, he's made his debut not too long ago. So I think this is someone that can absolutely contribute, to the Nigerian Super Eagles. First off, you may say invite to under 20s. That's fine, no worries about that. But there must be that progression. That progression. You can't have, two players who are 33, 34, who aren't contributing anything to the team, keep being invited and having no impact. You can't keep doing that. And then you have young, exciting players not being invited, or you invite them once and no one sees them anymore. Nigeria is blessed with players. Nigeria is blessed with players. And I like that he took a different route because usually everyone wants to go to mainstream Europe, which is not a bad thing, but sometimes it's good to try a different option, a different route. And he went to Brazil. and you can see it's an exciting talent, in my opinion. I wonder what you think. So I think this is someone that maybe he invites to Super Eagles, or he goes to the under 20s first, and then he moves to Super Eagles. But like I said before, that pathway should be there. That pathway from youth football to or let's say that pathway from being an under 20 player and then being integrated to the Super Eagles. That pathway should be there, because we've seen that a lot of times where you have old players, you keep them too long, and then they stay there for way too long, and then the team just gets old together, and that's not a good team. That's not a good thing for any team. To see the team get old together, and then then struggling to find replacements, and then the replacement you get at the time are just all young people with no experience on how to navigate when I say the waters of international football. So back to the question again: what would be success for you for Eric Chelle? How would you grade Eric Chelle? What would be the barometer? What would be the parameters for grading Eric Chelle as a coach? In your opinion, is it style of play? Is it results? Is it qualifying for the AFCON? I mean, for the World Cup? Is it winning the AFCON? Because a lot of people have been saying did well under Pesero to get to the final. Any coach that comes into the Super Eagles right now should be ready to move to go a step, a step beyond, to take that one last step, and that step is actually winning the trophy, because it's been way too long, and Nigeria should have won more than the 3 AFCON titles or trophies that the country has at the minute. It should have been more. So are you of the school of thought as well, and saying, okay, Eric Chelle, you've come in, you must win this tournament. You must win Morocco 2025. Are you one of those? Or are you one of those that says, it doesn't matter, you win the AFCON, and then you don't qualify for the World Cup, you're gone? So where do you stand? For me, like I said, I want a bit of everything. I want to see good football, result-oriented football. So while I said I want to see good football, if Nigeria wins AFCON and then wins and qualify for the World Cup, then I'll say, okay, give him time, because sometimes it takes a lot of time to implement a style of play, especially in international football, where you don't have the players with you week in, week out to work on tactics, to work on, style of play, patterns of play. So if he goes on to win the AFCON and qualify for the World Cup, I wouldn't mind his style of play too much. But if he plays very well, good style of play, good patterns of play, score lots of goals, but just misses out by an hair's breadth, in terms of qualifying for the World Cup, or in terms of winning the AFCON, like I said, okay, go ahead and get one more year. But if the style of play is bad, non-existent, and then you still don't win, you still don't qualify for the World Cup, then for me, it would be time for him to go. And going back to, what a lot of journalists have been talking about, we need to get a Nigerian coach, or we need to get the class of 94, like Amonike, like Olise. The question I've been asking people, say, do Nigerian players really plan for their careers after football? Do they really plan their careers after football? If you want to be a coach, are you getting your coaching badges at the minute? Like an Ndidi. Retirement is just by the corner. Retirement is by the corner. Are they beginning to plan for their retirement? Whether you want to become an agent or you want to become a coach, are they getting their coaching badges? Because 5-6 years from now, Nigeria may be looking for a coach. You don't just expect the national team to be handed to you on a platter to say, okay, you play for Super Eagles, so that automatically means you're a coach. Finidi was given the opportunity. I know a lot of people love Finidi for what he did for Nigeria in terms of when he was a player, and just wanted to overly protect him. Forgot about his style of play that was atrocious, in my opinion, and all of them wanted to sort of bury Victor Osimhen. Oh, you should apologize. You need to apologize for your outburst. Oh, you should never play for the Super Eagles. Oh, you should never be a captain of a team. So we have all these narratives that are built around home-based coaches, narratives that are built around, the former class of '94. Everyone thinks that the only people that have sort of the bet right to coach the national team, the people that have the bet right, only people that know anything about football, you know, in the entire country. For me, that's just nonsense, in my opinion. We've given a lot of them opportunities. Uh, Stephen Keshi of blessed memory, he had the opportunity, he helped Nigeria win the AFCON. So good on him, no criticism for him from me. Gave Siasa an opportunity. I would say the team played good football under him, but we had the controversy he had with him. So he's had his chance. Olise had his chance as well. We saw how that went. Finidi had his chance as well. We see it at the last. We just saw the style of football was just poor. Playing players out of position. So they've had a chance. I think Eric Chelle should be given an opportunity. And the NFF should allow him to invite the players that he wants to play. And then let's watch him. Give him all the support that's necessary and watch. If his team performs well, then he continues in the job. If his team doesn't perform well, he the obvious will happen, then he will lose his job. So, but people should stop all this unnecessary or this overly critical stance that they have taken. Yes, it's Malian. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. He's Malian. So does that mean what does national heritage have to do with the quality of coach? A lot of people were talking about Tuchel in England. Oh, why is he the manager? Or why is he the head coach of England? He's not English. He's German. Why should he coach? Why should he coach the three lions of England? My point of view then was, you get the coach, the best in class that can give your team the best opportunity of winning, and that's the same thing I would say for the Super Eagles as well. You get the coach that gives your team the best opportunity of winning. So it doesn't matter the country is from, doesn't matter what national team he plays for, doesn't even matter if he sings national anthem or not. But as long as he gives your team the best opportunity of winning. And then some people keep talking like Nigeria is kind of attract Pep Guardiola, like they want Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp. They want some type of coach that is top tier. First off, those coaches are not going to leave the club they're coaching. Jurgen Klopp isn't going to leave his new gig, with the Red Bull Group. Pep Guardiola is definitely not leaving Man City to any country at the minute. So you can't expect that you get any of these top managers. First of all, because one, you have to get the country to a point where everyone looks at it and say yes. So if Eric Chelle gives you the best opportunity of winning, let him. After we've had coaches that that from Europe, but their pedigree hasn't wasn't even that great, but we give them the opportunity. And one of the best coaches that we've had as a country, Clemens Westerhoff, he wasn't a top level coach. He wasn't a top level coach, but he came to the Super Eagles and brought something new. Improve the training, improve the fitness of the Super Eagles, and then open the route for Nigerian players to go overseas and apply their trade. Because usually what you used to see with Nigerian Super Eagles was fantastic first half, energetic first half, play very well. Once he gets to the second half, all gassed up, all tired. But Westerhoff came in, changed the mindset of Nigerian player, changed the fitness levels of Nigerian player, and we're able to win that AFCON in 1994. So give Eric Chelle the opportunity to coach these players. We saw the way Mali played. We've seen his tactical style, and we've got better players, way better players than Mali. Way better players than Mali. So we should say, if he was able to get, Mali to the quarterfinals and almost to the semifinals, he should be able to get Nigeria to the finals and win it. Because there was one thing people were critical of Jose Pesero about, and that was the team was too defensive. Although I wasn't one of those, but a lot of people were criticizing him to say the team was too defensive, we're not really attacking. But now you have an attack-minded coach, And some people still want to be overly critical because of nationality or whatever. For me, that doesn't matter. And I've said this before, it's time as Nigerians, it's time the NFF and other selectors, other administrators become only obsessed with winning, nothing else. If this coach can give you the best chance of winning, you get him. You allow him to do his job. If certain players give you the best opportunity of winning, you get them. Doesn't matter if they have 10 nationalities, doesn't matter. As long as they're eligible to play for Nigeria and they have the quality to help you win, let them. Let them. Because have you ever seen England say, oh, we're not going to allow this player to play because he has dual nationality? No. Even Brazil. Even Brazil. Have you ever heard that a player who's eligible to play for Brazil, that's a top quality player, is not allowed to play for Brazil? No. Because Spain, Omorogion, Samu Omorogion, that's an Edo name. He plays for Spain. So get you players that give you the best opportunity of winning, whether they are home based, whether they are foreign based, whether they just have Nigerian nationality or they have both Nigerian and nationality of a European country. As long as they give you the best opportunity of winning, you get there. And put like talking about home based players, you never get your best players as home based. You're not. And that's not to say you don't have good home based players. You do. But the thing is, the state of the league doesn't allow the best players to remain in the league. Once they achieve any kind of notoriety, score 5, 6 goals, 7 goals, 8 goals, top goal scorer in the league, they are gone. Best right back in the league, they are gone. And you can't blame them. You cannot blame them. They are gone. So that's one thing. You stop doing emphasizing home base. Oh, home base. Oh, let him get. Oh, hopefully Eric Chelle will get one of the players from the Chan Eagles. That's good. I'm sure. 'Cause I know he watched the game, so probably there'll be one or two that would have impressed him. That's good. That would impress him. That's fine. But don't you worry. In less than 5 days, those players will be off to some league in Europe. That's just it. You can never have your best players in the Nigerian league. I'm sorry. As long as they're good enough, they'll be off until the league improves in terms of its commercial strategy. In terms of how players are paid, in terms of the visibility of the league. How many people watch it. How many people watch it in not just overseas, but how many people go to the stadium to watch the matches? How many people have access to watch it? What channels show the matches? So until you improve these things, players will continually leave, will continue to leave. Players will continue to leave. That's just, my opinion. Players will continue to leave. And then talking about integrating young players into the team, into the Nigerian Super Eagles, there's this other player, I've talked about him a lot. I'd like us to watch and see what it's about. I've said he's not on the level of Vinicius at the minute because there are levels to things. Vinicius has been playing at a top level for some years now, so they're not at the same level at all. Because when you say something, people take it and then paint it in a different light and take it out of context. So I say in terms of raw ability, in terms of pure ability, I prefer pure. In terms of pure footballing ability, I think he is on par with Vinny Jr., but he's not at the level yet. But in terms of skill, the way they approach the game, I think it's someone that we should be looking to integrate, into the team. So let's have a look. So I can't help but see it again. Just look, uses defender, calls the ball, around him, go. So just watch out. Number 33, you see the way he plays, how he controls the defender, the skill on the ball. Definitely, this is someone that's destined to be a top player. Like I said it before, if this boy was Brazilian, there's no way he goes to Norway. There's no way he goes to Norway. If he was a Brazilian playing in the Brazilian league, there's no way he goes to Norway. Due respect to Norwegian league, there's no way he would have gone to. At least he wouldn't have been at Valerenga. Due respect to them, cheers for giving this young player an opportunity. Look at him. Look at. Let's go back. Sorry. Let's go back. Watch. Control 1, 2, 3, and then has the awareness to put the ball in. Here he goes again. 1v1. Step over. He's now on his left foot. Shot is blocked, fortunately. Ball goes to him again. Size of defender goes on the outside. So ability to go both ways. You don't know how important that is as for a winger. Look at him, goes past. Let's go back. Look at that little piece of skill there. Delightful piece of skill there. Go back one step. I've got it, yeah. Watch. Yep, it's gone. See him again. Has the ball. What does he do? Outside. Stop. So you see. Look at style of play. So I'm telling you, if this guy was Brazilian, playing in the Brazilian league, he would have gone maybe to an English club, or he would have gone to a Spanish club, or even if he was going to a Norwegian league, he would have gone to a club that's at the top end of the league. So that's why I say you can never get the best players. You can never get the best players play, in the Nigerian league for a number of reasons. There's the financial aspect, how much the players earn, because at the end of the day, while we enjoy watching the games, enjoy watching football, it's a sense something like this entertainment. But for football players, it's a job. They need to earn a living from it. That's one. Secondly, visibility. How many people watch you? How many people get to notice what you do? So if all these things are not sorted out, you will never get your best players playing in the Nigerian league. So coming towards the end of the video, thanks to all those who've come on and now watched the video and have been part of the stream. Those of you that will see it afterwards, or like your thoughts as well, you can leave comments in the comment section. Do subscribe to the channel as well, and click the notification bell so you're notified each time I go live like this or I post a pre-recorded video. And tell me what you think about this video, whether you like it or don't like it. Let me know what your thoughts are. And then, so for me, takeaway points for everyone. My expectations of Eric Chelle is good football. I want to see the Super Eagles play good football, attacking football. Now I'm not talking about tippy-tappy football. I'm not talking about short passes in your 18-yard box, even if you have five opposing players all around you. No, but attacking football that creates opportunities, opportunity to score goals and taking those chances and scoring those goals as well. And then I also expect to get to the AFCON, at least get to the final, and then for the World Cup, should be able to qualify for the World Cup, in my opinion, because let's get it right. The teams in that group are not that great. With due respect to them, they're not that great. They are teams that Nigeria should be beating anyways. It's just because of poor selection of players and even poorer tactical setup from Finidi George. That's why Nigerian Super Eagles are where they are at the minute. It's not because those teams were better. They were not better. It was just because we ended up inviting players that would not be able to do anything. They were not able, rather, to do anything on the day, and just had them on the bench. So if Eric Chelle comes in and he indeed invites the right players and plays to their strength, that's another thing. Playing players to their strength. I know each time I talk about Victor Boniface, everyone gets, it's just the spot of bother. Oh, why are you talking about Boniface? Now, Boniface, we see how he plays for Bayer Leverkusen. We see the combination play with Florian Wirtz, with Nathan Teller, with Schick. We see that combination play, and we see that leads to him scoring goals. That leads to him creating opportunities for other people to score goals. So that's what you want to do if you want to see the best of Victor Boniface. You have them pair up with the Victor Osimhen, for instance, have them pair up, or you bring players close to him. So if you're playing with an Eric Chelle's 4-3-1-2, then that means you're playing with the 10 behind two strikers. Then you have someone like Ademola Lookman, for instance, playing that 10 role close to Victor Boniface and Victor Osimhen, and that can help bring the best out of Victor Boniface. So play players to their strength, and that's one of the reasons Nigeria in the spot that we are at the minute, because the coach just decided to invite players that were not good enough for one, and then didn't play them in their rightful position. So there was this midfielder, I think Olawuyi, that was invited. He's meant to be a midfielder that plays in Turkey, and then he's brought in to play as a winger. So what was the point? Play players in a rightful position. And this is a universal truth. If you look at even the top European clubs that a lot of people support, your Real Madrid, your Manchester United, your Chelsea's, when they play players out of position, the team struggles. So it's nothing new. So one thing I want to see from Eric Chelle is play players in their rightful position. Play them in their rightful position. And then you see the best out of them. And then that gives you the opportunity to judge. If you play Victor Boniface, you play Ademola Lookman close to him, and he doesn't perform, then you can say, okay, we see what you do with Florian Wirtz at Bayer Leverkusen. You perform there, but you've come to Super Eagles, we play you, we'll pair you up with Ademola Lookman behind you and Victor Boniface paired up with you up top, and you're still not performing. Then you can say, okay, you're either not giving your best for the team, so you should be on the bench. But it's not a situation where you're not playing him to his strength, and then you want to judge him harshly. No. So at this point, I've come to the end of the stream. Thanks for all of you who tuned in to watch, and I'll see you on yet another video. Hopefully, that will be either a pre-recorded video or a live stream as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on yet another video. And before I leave, I want to say this: if you're a proprietor of, a football academy, a grassroots football academy in Nigeria, please leave a comment in the comment section, as I'm looking for ways to support, these academies. So leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll reach out to you. And also, if you know anyone, you can also tell them to leave a comment in the comment section, or they can reach out to me as well, and we can have a nice conversation as to how I can provide support for this academy. So at this point, from the end of the video, do see you on yet another video. Stay blessed and be good. Bye-bye.